and we're back with Pastor Tom Hughes and Pastor Billy Crone. We will pick up where we left off. Pastor Billy, after everything Pastor Tom was just mentioning about where all of this is going, I can't help but think about Ephesians. The Bible states in Ephesians 6:12, "We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So it sounds to me like our main battlefront here should be spiritual, as we're being attacked by demonic forces of evil.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate on the meaning of this verse and how it ultimately applies to where we're at in society?
Yeah, basically what Paul's talking about there in Ephesians 6, he's talking about, and he says this, he says, listen, not all of our battles are physical in nature, right? Some of them are spiritual. In other words, they're demonic. There's people that are working for Satan. And Jesus said in John chapter 8, he gives us two characteristics. It's not the only ones in the Bible, but two characteristics of Satan. He said he's a liar and he's the father of all lies, and he's a murderer, and he's been one from the beginning. When he did what he did to Adam and Eve, he knew they would die physically. And so you look at what these guys are doing, you look at their agenda, and you basically, it's all about lies. And where do lies come from? Satan, all of them. They ultimately come back to that same source. And these guys don't care what they do to the planet. They don't care about us. Their terms that they have, Yuval Noah Harari says it all the time. He's not the only one. These same guys, and he's basically Klaus Schwab's science advisor. He says that we're useless people. Useless people, useless eaters. That's straight out of Hitler, right? They don't care who they kill. They're I call them mass murderous megamaniacs working for Satan, because they're doing, it's all built on lies, and they don't care how many people die in the process as they take over the planet. So that's what the Bible is telling us, that listen, you need to wake up. This isn't just always natural. There is an entity behind steering these guys. Unfortunately, they're listening to them. If I could add just one thing, Pastor Tom, Facebook, we call it Tracebook, because he's exactly right. That's all it is, gathering data on us as well. But I wanted to share real quick the aspect of the 15-minute cities, and as Pastor Tom was talking about, what these guys are bringing in, mainly for the naysayer. And this is all part of the package. You mentioned the Cashless Society, the Mark of the Beast, Revelation 13, all that stuff. That's the important leg of what these guys are implementing in this thing called the Great Reset Agenda 2030, is to go to a cashless society. You're like, why are they so big on that? Because it will build a prison planet, and it will control everything you do, not just your location, everything you do. So, for instance, you say somebody's watching this program and say, well, they ain't never going to put me in one of those 15-minute cities. Okay, well, let's say you get in one already or whatever, and you say, I got to get out of this. Well, once everything becomes digital, the finances, it's game over. And it's already happening. There's the digital yuan in China. They're getting ready for the digital euro. Ours is the digital dollar, sometimes called the Biden bucks. But it's happening all over. But think about what they will do. If we allow them to go digital with our currency, then everything's controlled. For instance, go back to what you mentioned earlier. You'll own nothing and be happy. He also says you'll eat less meat. You're saying, well, I'm going to get whatever kind of meat I want. No, you won't, because now that it's digital, you go to the store, and it's all tied together with the database. You go to try to purchase that meat, and the transaction will not go through because they control it. It's all digitized right now. And then you'll own nothing. And you say, well, I'll go buy whatever I want. You won't be able to buy and sell. Right? They'll control your buying and selling, and or shut you out of the system. You speak up against the government. You speak up on social media on some of their agendas. Certainly have an interview like this. All of a sudden, you'll get bing on your new universal, possibly FedNow app. You'll get 50% of your income just went down for penalty for speaking up and being a troublemaker, right? A terrorist, whatever they want to label us. And that's really going to happen if it goes digital. Let me give you one more. Well, you know what? I'm just going to run to the hills. I'm going to get out of this 15-minute city thing. This is crazy. No, you won't. The same technology, the same currency allows them with your currency to do what's called geofencing with your digital money. Meaning it only works because with satellite technology, they can track you wherever you go. And so once you reach the threshold of 15-minute radius of where you live, then your money will shut off. So you can't escape, you can't whatever. And that's why I call these things, these are digital concentration camps, right? But again, are you going to come on the scene saying, hey, we're going to take over the world and we're going to cram all you guys into these concentration camps? No, people would freak out. So you relabel it. Again, they're masters of relabeling. They're liars. And they say, we're here to save the planet. And we're going to help reduce your carbon footprint by these 15-minute cities. No, it's a concentration camp in modern times, and we'll be like rats in a cage if we don't hurry up and speak up and expose what these guys are really up to.
Yeah, that is so true, and that's why it is so essential. And I think, people are scared of speaking up because of all of the backlash that we often face and all of the censorship that they so incessantly try to threaten us with. And they are successful, but we can't let it stop us, right?
Right.
I know that people often laugh and make fun of us for trying to warn that the Lord is returning soon, but I think it's pretty clear we're approaching that time. I know it's a touchy subject and we can't say exactly when, obviously, but I think we're nearing that point. But what would you say to the people that aren't really standing up and speaking out or too afraid? I mean, I know we talked about that last time that we spoke, Pastor Tom, that Christians are sort of weak right now. They're not rising up to the occasion. So what should be happening and how should people be responding to these situations?
As a pastor, it's rather disappointing. Billy's a pastor also.
Yes.
We tend to run with pastors that are like-minded. But by far, the majority of pastors don't even want any of this near their pulpit. Mm-hmm. They don't want it in their churches. Yeah. And we have a church in America that is very soft.
Right.
And it's been softened up over the years. It was years ago that demographics were done. Somebody who graduate from a seminary, for example, they send out the demographics to an area to plant a church. Mm-hmm. What they would do is ask the people, what are you looking for in a church? And so they started building churches with what do the people want? Well, I look at that, 2 Timothy chapter 4. Yeah. Billy's taught on this many times, where Paul writes in there, he says, in the last days, he says, people will raise up for themselves teachers to itch their ears, bringing fables, smooth stories. Yeah. And this is what people want. So I see that's happened in the church. The church is very soft. The Bible's not taught in most churches. Right. If it is, it's just taught as a book with good thoughts, has nice things in it, but you can't use it to live by it. Yes. Well, the Bible's very clear. Jesus came the first time, and very clear he is coming again. There's over 800 prophecies regarding the second coming of Christ. And we are watching this convergence of all of them. It's not a coincidence that we're dealing with all the digital things, the climate laws, all these things to implement the 15-minute cities, everything Billy just talked about, along with what we're looking at with Russia, Ukraine, Israel, the Biden administration, which has got to be the worst administration in the history of the world. I don't even just think America. Yeah. It's really bad. We're watching America rot from the inside. But when you start looking at the details, you go, wow, the Bible warned us about all these things, and they were warning signs.
Exactly.
Hey, when you see things starting to go this bad, this is what they're going to look like. Mm-hmm. These are going to be all the different angles. When you see them start to converge together, remember this, Jesus said, when you see these things begin to take place, look up and lift up your head because your redemption draws near. And we're watching these converging all right now.
Yes, we are. Amen to that. We all need to lift our heads up and really look to him because he is truly the only answer right now. Yeah. We're almost all out of time for today, but I just want to say thank you both so much for joining us. And I know you're here for a very special event that's taking place this weekend. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
We have a conference. Billy's going to be speaking at, Pastor Billy, myself. We have 7 speakers. Going to be great. It's here in the San Diego area. You can still catch live stream. The place is going to be full. There's no more room.
It's already sold out.
But people can catch the live stream at hopeforourtimes.com, and they're going to be absolutely super blessed because they're going to be well informed. And quite frankly, Billy is about as good as you can get on.
Billy is amazing. And Billy, before we go, I know you have this incredible book that you just released. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, and the Coming Mark of the Beast. Basically, everything we just talked about on steroids in massive detail. We just exposed that. And that's some of the stuff that I'll be speaking at the conference.
Amazing. Well, everyone should definitely be there if you're in the San Diego area, if you got tickets, of course. If not, definitely check out the live stream because it's going to be great and you will not want to miss it. Pastor Billy and Pastor Tom, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank
it was a pleasure speaking
for having
with
us.
you.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.